Good evening, whalawhatu, and welcome to our first bulletin in English of the BCN News. Leading our news tonight, a special event was held at Uluwehi, Mutalau yesterday, where the island's teachers got together to prepare themselves for another year teaching our children. Here's more with our very own Niue High School student reporter, Georgia Tuhipa.
The Department of Education organised a retreat, which is a bonding session where teachers can relax and discuss some of their achievements from last year and prepare for the new year. I spoke to the Director of Education, Bertha Tongahai, about the event.
The theme is revitalize education, revitalize education in this COVID-19 era. Because last year, I think everybody was sort of a bit confused because of COVID-19, and even though we were not directly affected, but for this year we need to start with fresh lens. Of course, challenges continues, but we wish for the teachers to be strong, to continue to be more robust, and also to dedicate their time to teach our students.
Several keynote speakers were there and each had their own style of motivational speech for the teachers and staff to help prepare them as they begin another year of teaching.
Australia's really very proud and very committed to being engaged in supporting education here in Niue. You probably are aware we're currently providing modest assistance in tertiary scholarships to study in the region. We're looking at that. We're wanting to make sure that we're doing what is going to provide the best opportunity for students from Niue and the best opportunity to build a strong, prosperous Niue into the future.
Our children, we all know this, they spend more time at the school than they do at home. So what you teach our children, how you educate our children will reflect on them. But I thank you for your dedication, and also please encourage our younger generation to go into this profession, the teaching profession, because it's a very, very important profession for Niue.
The topic is not new to any of us here, and we all have a mission to lead in whatever we do, at home, in the village, here in Niue, or anywhere we serve. I believe all our efforts can be recovered in a healthy way and continuously stable by instilling a leadership mindset.
One of the most motivating speeches was the Deputy High Commissioner Nigel Earls, who channeled his version of the great Winston Churchill.
12 months ago, we did not see the dark clouds of COVID-19 hanging on the horizon, but now they continue to surround us like the clouds here today. But are we dismayed? No. Are we disheartened? No. Thanks to the brave work of our health workers and our border workers, Niue remains COVID-free, giving us the ability to go on with our lives as normal, to continue to persevere. And as teachers and staff of the Department of Education, that's what we expect you to do. Continue and persevere. Go out and educate. Take forward the agenda that you have today and see how you can adapt.
Taking advantage of the presence of two of Niue's biggest donors, the New Zealand and Australian High Commissioners, the Niue Minister of Education, Honourable Sauni Tongatule, asked to begin discussions on upgrading Niue High School.
To actually provide some incentive in terms of upgrading Niue High School to a stage where we can, the teacher could be able to perform well in terms of educating our kids. Our younger generation is really one of Niue's important capital at the moment. We seem to talk about capital items, but we don't realize that actually our younger generation is the most important capital that any country has in terms of moving forward.
The whole day event continued with singing and group sessions, and teachers and education staff prepare themselves mentally for the year to come.
Thank you, Georgia, for that story. Georgia will be back at school to complete her Level 3 NCEA this year. We wish her all the best. In our other stories, the police has confirmed that there will be no charges to the people who broke the rules during Takai Week a few weeks ago, but they will be speaking to these people. We spoke to Constable Narita Viliamu Tahanga.
The department has had a sit down and have had some thoughts about what happened on Takai Day. So at this time, at the moment, no one's been charged with any offences on Takai Day. However, the department is looking at bringing in those who have broken the rules that were set out to them for Takai Day, just to have a brief talk with them and have some sort of warning given to them for the next coming year of Takai.
The police want to remind the public that their core role is to protect the public and ensure that people follow the rules. They are not trying to ruin the fun of Takai. Social media is also attributed to an increasing number of people taking risks on Takai. People taking more risks in flouting the law because of the effects their actions will have on social media. The police is aware of this and the impacts of social media have on people's behaviour.
Social media, yes, our concern will be the influence on other people on our island for future Takais. And also the big influence would be our relatives that will travel here in the coming future to being able to be a part of the Takai. So that's what the department is trying to do right now, is try and reduce all these, what they're portraying that they're not supposed to do on Facebook. So we're trying to reduce that now so that when we have new people coming into the island or tourists or our own relatives, just to be mindful that that is not acceptable at the moment.
Some people mistakenly believe that the rules don't apply during Takai time, but according to the police, the rules still apply even on Takai. The only rules that are relaxed for Takai is allowing the old bombs to be on the roads and removing of mufflers for the motorbikes. For those who think that they can get away by ignoring the law, there's some new changes which will come into effect in June this year with on-the-spot fines. The NCEA results for Niue High School for 2020 showed some very good improvements from previous years. Our student reporter Georgia Tuhipa spoke to Niue High School Principal Charles Ioane about these provisional results.
These provisional results were released by the school yesterday. For Level 1 students, from the total of 32 students, 23 passed, 11 boys and 12 girls, a pass rate of 72%. For Level 2, out of the 33 students, 31 passed, or 94% achieved Level 2. 10 boys passed, 6 of them passed with a merit endorsement. 21 girls passed, and 3 of them achieved with excellence endorsements.
I'm so pleased with the NCEA results that came out. That most of there's an increase in the number of course endorsements in merit and excellence, and also the high number of achievements this year.
For Level 3 with 21 students, 16 achieved Level 3 or 80%. 10 girls, 3 of them achieved with merit endorsements, and 6 boys. 1 achieved with excellence endorsement. 94% of these students gained university entrance. Georgia Tuhipa for BCN News.
Decisions from the Niue High Court posted on the Pacific Islands Legal Information Institute from last year include a woman in her mid-20s charged with several counts of fraud and an application by 2 business people appealing the decision of the government's licensor of business. Here's more on that story. The woman in her mid-20s charged with several counts of fraud pleaded guilty to all charges. She was sentenced to 1,040 hours of community service to be served within 2 years. Her family told the court that they will repay all the monies stolen. The woman is also required to undergo counselling for 6 months. She is responsible for her community service by contacting the Niue Police to ensure that she has completed her required hours. In the matter of 2 business owners who appealed to the Niue High Court, they appealed the decision of the government's licensor of business to decline their application to start a bicycle rental, tours and bike maintenance business. The applicants claimed that the licensor of business did not follow due process as required by the Business Licensing Act and declined their application without conducting a business analysis. Chief Justice Coxhead agreed with the applicants, granting the appeal, and ordered that the licensor of business reconsider the application for a business license and to ensure a market analysis is completed. BCN News understands from the applicants that they have yet to receive a decision from the licensor of business. And for many of our scholarship students, they have no choice but to defer their studies until the travel restrictions are lifted. Some of the New Zealand-based scholarship students have returned to commence their studies. We spoke to Australia's High Commissioner to Niue, Her Excellency Susan Allen, about the Australian-funded students.
Our overriding concern has been to support these students to continue their education in a way that's best for them. So we've offered them 3 options. We've offered them the option of continuing to defer their studies, to continue to study remotely from here in Niue, or to return to Suva. Now, we're well aware that none of those options are ideal at the moment. If they return to Suva, they have to do the quarantine that Fiji is requiring, and also their options for travelling back in the mid-semester break are probably limited. We're saying they should expect not to be able to travel back to Niue during the course of their study.
A statement from New Zealand's Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade says that they are working to send the 2 successful students or scholarship students from last year's intake to begin their studies in New Zealand. However, the students from regional institutions like Fiji and Vanuatu will remain in Niue. They have the option of continuing their studies remotely or continue to defer.
The pandemic has been tough on everyone. It's been tough on students everywhere. My own children are studying in Australia, and they're facing all of these same challenges. I guess the thing to say is don't let this be something that makes you lose heart, that the world will continue, we'll pick up again when the pandemic's over, travel restrictions will be over, and study will be possible again.
The Australia-funded scholarship applicants for 2020 have been reactivated, and they will be calling for new applications for study in 2022. A ceremony to welcome 19 new permanent residents was held last week. The 19 includes a teacher, an accountant, a couple of business people and mechanics, and also labourers. 10 of them were children. One of the recipients, Mrs. Nainasa Faleovalu, who has lived in Niue for 13 years, spoke on behalf of her fellow new recipients.
We are a group of people from different Asia Pacific countries. We don't look alike. We don't worship the same way. But here today, we have all come together as one. As one power, as one people, as one nation, as Niueans. We have powerful traditions, strength and willpower when faced with severe hardship. These are some of the qualities that we think is vital in keeping ourselves focused on our service to others, respect for our elders, and sacrifice for our children.
Premier Dalton Tagilangi and his full cabinet were all in attendance. The Minister of Immigration, Crosley Tatui, spoke on behalf of Cabinet to welcome the new permanent residents.
The ceremony today shows that you have contributed a lot to our cultural, political, economic, social, and technological growth and achievements. Your hard work, dedication, and commitment over the years has earned our trust and confidence to count you as our own brothers and sisters, sons and daughters of Niue.
The Immigration Act of 2011 increased the length of stay from 3 years to 10 years before any migrant is eligible to apply for permanent residence status. And congratulations to all the new Niue permanent residents. The police have confirmed that there were no road accidents during the Christmas and New Year festive period, but there were 2 accidents on Sunday the 17th of this month. While covering this story, BCN News discovered that a growing number of people driving and operating heavy machinery on the island are not certified nor licensed. The first accident happened in the early hours of that Sunday morning when a van went off the road between Alofi and the junction to Likulakapa. The second accident involved a high-up truck which was transporting the van from the first accident. The high-up truck tipped on its side at the Fonuakula Industrial Park as it was trying to remove the van from the back of the truck. There were no injuries reported at both accidents. However, BCN News discovered while covering this story that a growing number of drivers and operators of heavy machinery on the island are not tested or certified to drive heavy machinery. The police told BCN News that there are only 2 government departments who have the proper certification processes in order to qualify for heavy machinery licenses. The Ministry of Infrastructure's Director of Transport, Sonia Talangi, told BCN News that they are now discussing with the Niue Police to amend the 1965 Transport Act to ensure that all drivers and operators of heavy machinery are properly trained, certified and licensed. BCN News is aware of a growing number of private business people who have imported heavy machinery and are operating heavy machinery without certification or licenses. The high-up truck involved in this accident is one of the new fleet of heavy machinery for Telecom Niue. A number of other government agencies also have a fleet of heavy machineries, and their drivers and operators do not have certification or licenses. And to end our bulletin tonight, I was honoured to be part of a tree planting program last week with Omatafua and Aliutu Conservation. Here's Fiafia Rex, the founder of Omatafua, talking about the tree planting at Aliluki Park last week.
So behind us you have the children planting some of the seeds that we've collected last year that we've grown. Those are the celia trees. Now behind us we also have the windbreakers, the casuarina trees. We're teaching them about how they protect our coastlines. And because we're so vulnerable right now to the climate crisis, as you've seen recently, we've got Cyclone Zazu and Yasa. So we also instill disaster risk reduction. What to pack in a go bag, what are the emergency numbers, and what are their plans? Do they know the evacuation centers and things like that? So I'm very grateful for my work, Pacific Centre for Environment and Sustainable Development, for allowing me to be a part of this program.
And these type of programs of Omatafua and Aliutu Conservation depend on voluntary support. So if you're keen to volunteer, please contact Fiafia Rex. But for us from BCN News, until our next English bulletin on Thursday next week, you have a lovely weekend. Good night.